It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place.
Okay, so I know there's been a lot of speculation going around about, mainly the status of where me and Amanda stand. Obviously, after posting a series on TikTok and it kind of going viral, a lot of you guys from all over the world have grown to be super invested. And I'm gonna pretty much kind of touch on, the whole situation, the whole story. But before we get into this, all I ask is that if you're gonna comment and have an opinion about it, just please watch the video from start to finish. That's all I ask. That being said, let's get into it. Let me take you guys back to where I believe everything started. I was living in Arizona at the time, and I was filming at Arizona State University. I was just making stupid content like I used to do around that time, like pickup lines and interviews. And then out of nowhere, I run into a girl who really caught my eye. And to be in my little documentary. Wow, what is your name?
Sammy.
What's your ethnicity?
Can you guess?
Fuck, I'd say you're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You like Ethiopian?
No, I'm Indian.
Indian?
Mm-hmm.
What's your name again?
Sammy.
Nice to meet you, Sammy.
What do you have in store? One life away we can't explore, but I don't want to get in the way no more, cause it's the type of feeling you can't ignore.
As you can see, we pretty much hit it off. At the time, I don't think I was really looking for anyone. I was just pretty much focused on the content. I think at the time, maybe I'd been on YouTube for like 7 years. Probably had talked to maybe over 10,000 girls from just all over the country. So I think I had a good sense of telling, or knowing when, someone had a little more to them than like just, what you see on the surface. She was born and raised in India, and she had just gotten her U.S. citizenship. She's studying to be an engineer. She was smart, driven, funny, charming, just everything you pretty much want in a partner.
Every time I leave the house, Julian makes me vlog what I'm doing as perf. So this is basically my video entry diary for Julian. Currently I'm in the garage. I'm gonna drive to my parents' house so I can pick up my sister and her friends since she's celebrating a birthday, and then drive them around. No, there's nobody in the car.
She was Hindu and I was Christian. You might hear that and be like, wait, how the hell did that work? So she still, accepted and believed in Jesus. What's funny is she actually went to church several times with me. On top of that, she would actually be the main one pushing us to go to church. My family loved her. My friends loved her. People who I really looked up to, like mentors and stuff, would tell me like, bro, you found the one.
Are you serious
Are
right
you
now?
serious or no?
We're supposed to watch Django tonight. I've been trying to...
We are not.
What do you mean? Yes, we are.
If there is time.
Mother... We have been trying to watch Django for the last, 6 nights. There's always some freaking excuse. Always an excuse. I'm convinced you're just racist at this point. And you just don't want to learn about black culture. You don't want to learn about black history. You just want to reap all the benefits from dating a black man. But you don't
What are the
care
benefits? What are you talking about?
At least a successful black man like myself.
And you're trying to take the benefits of dating an Indian woman.
I'm literally
eating chicken tikka masala. Yeah,
tonight.
which is so many people would want that. A girlfriend who cooks you chicken tikka masala.
I think I felt like I found my person. I was so happy. I didn't really know life could feel like that. I really didn't know you could be that happy. I was more comfortable being around her than even like my own family. And I never had felt that way about a stranger. Always had my back. I felt protected. I felt safe. Like I felt like, I knew she wouldn't let anybody talk bad about me, family, friends, just anybody. Like she did not play about me and I did not play about her. We weren't married on paper, but there's no doubt that she was my wife.
We value marriage a lot. So so I would expect that marriage comes out of this relationship.
She understood the business, she managed the finances, she took care of Kobe, she cooked, she cleaned, she was like Superwoman. She was the glue. But let me back up for a second, because something I never really talked about was something that was going on behind the scenes. So I had started taking Adderall like a few months before I even met her. If you guys don't know what Adderall is, it's basically a stimulant. It's for ADHD. It's a prescription drug. Basically helps you focus. At first, it really helped. Like, it really helped my editing. I feel like I was, more creative. But I feel like the downside was it just completely will strip away your personality. I wasn't as witty. I wasn't as charming. I wasn't as funny. Yeah, I just wasn't as happy when I took Adderall. And I'm not really even happy with the content that I'm making at the time. I was getting older. I met someone who I could see myself building a future with. Didn't want to keep creating this type of content. I'm over here thinking about the future. Like, what about my kids? And they see me kind of making these little stupid flirty pickup videos. Like, how is this really going to look like? I don't know. It's kind of getting to that point to where I kind of need to pivot. It wasn't just about views anymore. So I had to make a decision. I'm like, do I keep taking Adderall and, keep making content that I feel like no longer serves me? Or do I stop taking Adderall and, finally make that pivot and start making more meaningful content? At the time, my head was just really foggy. I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in.
So don't leave. Ooh, I just love the way you got me feeling. In love with the feeling. It's like, ooh, take away the pain.
Is your phone ringing?
Maybe. It's always ringing.
Whoever are Julian's host, please stop calling him, at least when I'm around.
Guys, I told you guys.
You call after 10 p.m. That was the rule.
They'll never learn.
Nope.
We planned this trip literally 3 days before.
We booked the tickets on Monday.
We were just sitting in the
Thursday.
car. Yeah. We were just sitting in the car waiting for our fucking smoothies. And I was just like, you want to go to Puerto Rico? And what'd you say?
I think I said yes.
So I took a trip to PR so I could kind of just get away from everything and be in a clear headspace to help me, make the right decision and to, figure out what exactly I want to do with my life. Looking back, I think I probably should have went alone, but at the time, there was no way I was just gonna not bring her. We were there for about a week. We talked about the future, we talked about kids and what we wanted out of life and just how our life would look and where we wanted to live long term. And by the end of the trip, I definitely had my decision. I was done chasing views. I was done messing around with my life. And I was gonna quit Adderall. And I did quit Adderall, cold turkey. And I felt good. I chose happiness. I thought that was gonna be the hard part, but man, I had no idea how difficult it was gonna be to try to build and start something new while also going through withdrawal. I never even told my psychiatrist that I stopped. I just stopped seeing him. When it came to the content, I was kind of just stuck in limbo. At this point, I was still making really good money from just my back catalog, so I figured I had time to figure things out. I think Adderall definitely did more than just give me, the ability to focus. I think it helped with my impulsiveness because after I stopped taking Adderall, I became so impulsive. I started doing a lot of stupid stuff. I bought a puppy.
Guys, look.
You eat poop. Your breath smell like poop.
This is the patio. Look. We were down there, remember? Mr. Rocky. He looks like a little Henry too, to be honest. This is the guest.
And we couldn't even keep him because, she had school. I did not have the energy, the mental capacity to be watching a puppy on top of Kobe. And then I bought another Tesla because apparently just having one isn't enough. I was just spending, man. I was just spending. I think I was just trying to distract myself with materials and so I didn't have to face, just making real content. I didn't have to face my purpose, so I just tried to distract myself. I ended up posting here and there some of the same stuff. I took a few trips, but it's just, my heart just wasn't in it anymore, y'all. You can't fake that for too long.
So we're breaking up?
Yeah. It's, we came to a mutual decision.
Julian cheated on me.
A few times.
With different men.
Hey, yo, hi. We are in Miami, Florida. We're kind of apartment hunting. We're thinking about relocating.
Life has been lifing.
I'm over here thinking, like, you know what, maybe that's the issue. Like, maybe if I get out of Arizona, if I go here, then maybe that'll fix everything, right? I think we should go somewhere nicer. We were looking into San Diego, looking into Boston, just all these types of places all over the country. We could have lived anywhere in the country. Could have lived anywhere in the world, probably. Florida was the main thing that we had our eyes on because I had family there already, and I had lived there previously for a couple years. And, you know, it's Miami. Like, who doesn't want to live in Miami? So we packed up and went to Miami. We lived in what I think is probably one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in the country. It was so beautiful, man. Like, I loved the location. I loved the apartment. I loved just waking up every morning there. Yeah, we were both very happy, happier than we were in Arizona. The walks that we would take were so nice. Even relocating and being that happy and being in that environment, I still was not able to find my groove. You know, I tried filming, but I just kept falling back into the same old content that I was making before. I hated it. It was just so, there's so many videos that I just filmed and never put out because I didn't like it. But I just also didn't have the strength to pivot. It was just, it was weird. But the clock was definitely ticking. My residuals were slowing down. The savings were still dwindling down. Everything was going down. I started to gain weight. At some point, I just didn't even feel comfortable even being on camera anymore. Things were getting pretty dark. Sammy offered to help and she wanted to go out herself and get a job. You know, as a man, as a provider, my ego and my pride just could not accept that. And I told her, we got to shut that down. And she also even offered to help do interviews herself, which is just so, yeah, when I tell you she was ride or die, like, I really mean it. Like, she was willing to help in any way that she could. I just couldn't get myself out of this, you know? And everything slowly started falling apart. Eventually, Sammy sat me down and we had a conversation and she didn't sugarcoat anything. She told me straight up what I needed to hear. She told me that we were gonna lose everything and I needed to do something. Looking back, she wasn't upset about the lifestyle change. She wasn't upset that for our anniversary, second year anniversary, I took her to Outback. What upset her was just seeing how I changed, seeing how I just started settling. I went from being the guy, go above and beyond to, you know, impress and just, you know, like for our first date, we were going to 5-star steak restaurant on a mountain. You know, we go on random pop-up trips. Like, that's the lifestyle that I worked really hard to have. And that's the lifestyle that I felt like I should be living. You go from that to just some guy who's just settling and just, now I had no spark. I had no drive to even leave the house. It was difficult for me to even text my family members. She was watching me slowly just give up on myself. Instead of me being a man about it and realizing that she was right, I kind of took it as an attack. And I kind of felt like she was ungrateful, didn't appreciate me, and all these kind of things. And, you know, she was crying, and, you know, I just walked away. And, you know, funny thing, my mom gave us advice one day, and she said, my greatest advice for you guys is to never go to bed angry. You know, no matter what, always make up. And that night, I broke that rule. So she left. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I didn't eat for 21 days. I lost 40 pounds. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about everything. I was so hurt. And I had dreams about her every single night. And oh, man. My mom came into town the same day she flew in. She tried to help me. But yeah, there's nothing that could have pulled me out of that. I had to just go through that pain, man. It's so worse when you know it's all your fault. As a man, you feel like you failed your woman. Like, it was extremely hard to live with that shit, man. 24/7, I just felt like I wanted to fucking throw up. Couldn't watch TV. I couldn't do anything but sit in bed. The girl who loved me more than anything, the girl who would have put me first, the girl who did put me first, the girl who sacrificed everything for me, I pushed her away. Like, I let her down. And yeah. Yeah. You know. Oh shit. I never cried on camera before. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. So, I did not think I would do that. Okay. While I was falling apart emotionally, like, life did not stop. I still had bills, and I still had to be on camera. I think my bills at the time were like $6,500 a month, and you know, I'm supposed to just put on a smile in front of fucking hundreds of thousands of people. Like, my heart just didn't, you know, wasn't. Fuck. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. All right, I'm back. You know, a few months go by, and I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing a little better mentally. My friend, he's an up-and-coming YouTuber, Kiss. You guys might know him. He comes into town. You guys don't know, it's your boy. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, yo, Kiss, bro.
Yeah,
Big inspiration right here. I gotta say that.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Damn,
honestly,
man.
I'll say this real quick. Juju, you literally inspired me to even start YouTube, bro. I kid you not. I used to watch your videos all the time in like college.
Real shit.
And then like, for years I've been watching you, bro, and I was like, why not just start? You know what I mean?
Bro, that's crazy.
Big inspo right here, bro.
Man, that means a lot. Bro. Yo, this is the future right here. The future of the pranks, the future of all the social interaction stuff. I'm taking a step down, but like, I'm sure. I'm passing the torch to you, bro. You know, I met him, and we go to the club that night. Mind you guys, I have been pretty much like a monk. Like, I wasn't drinking until then and wasn't doing anything. I had a couple drinks that night for the first time, and I remember it all hit me hard. That shit was actually over, and she was never coming back. You know, my birthday had just passed, and there was no text, no nothing, and I was just like, oh my God, like, it's actually over. I couldn't breathe. I think I was having a panic attack in the club. My chest was getting tight. It was just a very intense feeling. At some point, I had to snap out of this and just go back to reality, because life was getting real. So I started brainstorming, and I was trying to figure out something that I could do to not only spark myself to want to make content, but spark, you know, the fan base and everything. I was like, you know, what type of series could I create? What's something that could hold me accountable, make me want to look forward to going to work every day? And that's when I just, out of nowhere, came up with the idea of doing series 30 Days, 30 Dates. A series where every day I would go on a different date with a different girl. I know it sounds crazy, but I thought it could make really good content. Everybody's happy. I'm happy because I'm out there having fun again, and then you guys are getting so much content. It's like I'm repaying you guys for the 2 years of inactivity. So I just thought all around it would just be a great idea. I didn't want to do this to fall in love or, you know, find a connection or rebound or anything, but I also wanted to just show that dating could come back. Like, just like in the 80s and 90s where people would just court a woman, and, you know, you find a woman attractive, you find a woman, you know, that you're interested in, you take her on a real date. Like, you know, I've always hated hookup culture. I knew I needed to keep this completely platonic. First date was actually this girl that I met at FAU. Her name is Alexa. I'm trying to find a stranger and convince them to like come over and bake cookies with me. I know it sounds weird, but like, I'm a YouTuber. Would you be interested?
When do you want to do that?
Like tomorrow?
Maybe.
Wait, what is your name?
Alexa.
Julian.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. She came over and we baked cookies together. It was really, really fun. Really cool date. You know Wonderwall?
Maybe.
You're my wonder. You don't know Wonderwall?
I don't think so.
How are you white and don't know Wonderwall? You never heard that? Then came date number 2, and that's when I met Amanda. You guys know how that went. The energy was real, the vibes were real, but you guys don't know it was like, you know, the behind the scenes. So Amanda was not like most people who, you know, I usually had around me. She liked to party, she was loud, she was high energy, she was bold, very confident. I'm gonna be real, like, I really liked being around her. She had a pretty open schedule. We ended up going on 2 dates back to back. You guys remember the cooking video. Like, on camera, as you guys can see, we had a lot of fun, but at that time, it's time for date number 4. I already had something lined up with Alexa. I did keep in contact with Amanda. We were texting and stuff. I could kind of tell that I felt like she felt some type of way about it. I was hearing that her friends and stuff were saying that I was a player and that, you know, I'm doing this for this reasons. And y'all know how that goes. We ended up hanging out off camera, you know, no mics, just me and her. And we were just talking, and I think the idea kind of floated, you know, what if I just did the series with Amanda? You know, we both liked being around each other. I kind of brought it up and kind of joked about it when I first met her. You can do the whole series with us then. You can do 30 dates.
Yeah.
Are you actually being serious? Like, could you?
Yeah, I would.
30
I have
days.
nothing else to do, so why not?
Seeing how natural we both kind of vibed, I kind of felt like, maybe it wasn't a bad idea. So first we decided to just post the first date, see how it goes, see if the people even like it. So, we did that, and obviously you guys loved it. So we decided to run it. Amanda agreed to help me keep the series going, which was so nice of her. Like, she really did not have to. Every single time we linked, it was really fun. I finally started smiling again.
And I've been looking for someone to put up with my bullshit. I can't even leave my bedroom, so I keep pouring. And I ain't seen no light of day since. Well, that's not important. It's been long.
So in the beginning, Amanda and I truly were just friends. Obviously, I was attracted to her. Like, she's obviously beautiful. We were just kind of in two different stages in our lives. I'm over here trying to rebuild, and she's literally a college student, young college student. I wouldn't really necessarily say she was exactly my type. Physically, yes, but the more we hung out, we saw each other every, if not every day, almost every day. I think her being around me, like someone older, more mature, she started to pick up on things, and she started to mature, and she started to let go of old habits. Her whole mindset started to change. She started to just become mature almost overnight. I think being around somebody that much, you're bound to start catching feelings. I did not want to lead Amanda on at all, so I was completely transparent. Like, I told her about my ex. I told her the situation. I told her exactly how I was feeling. I was very transparent with my feelings. Like, I'm very open. But at that point, I kind of think feelings were already growing, and I think we both kind of knew it. One day, Amanda and I were sitting down. I think you guys have seen this video, and we were on the couch. We're just thinking about and talking about how crazy it was for us to even cross paths and meet, because that day we met, I literally was kind of bedrotten. I didn't really want to get up, and my filmer kind of dragged me out of bed, and it was like literally 7 o'clock, bro. And I was like, bro, it's too late. Nobody's gonna be on campus. And literally, sure enough, we go into the library. We found Amanda, which was such a rare sighting, because if you know Amanda, she's not really in the library like that. No, I'm kidding. But the chances of us meeting were kind of slim. During that conversation, she said something that I'll probably never ever forget. She said, "What if the reason we met is so I could help you heal. And when you're finally back, that's probably when I'll be gone." And that was the first time Amanda has ever seen me cry. And I don't know, I never heard somebody be that mature and that selfless. Like, something definitely changed that night. Over time, Amanda became my best friend, as you guys have seen. Like, she's literally like my little mini-me. We like the same movies. We recite the same movies.
Yes, I do.
With child. We go on late night snack runs. It wasn't just good vibes. Like, Amanda genuinely wanted to help me get back to where I was. She genuinely wanted to see me win.
We just have to do it.
Yeah, I guess.
If we need to help, we have to get you back up there.
Time started to pass, and slowly I just stopped thinking about Sammy. And I'm just living in the moment. I'm being present. One night, Amanda came over, and we went on which was kind of our first real date, because, we didn't film anything. There was no pressure. There was no camera, no mics. It was literally just us having dinner. And I just remember looking at her that night when we got back. The way she looked at me was different. The way she looked at me started changing. And it was it just felt more present, more soft, if that makes sense. So in my apartment, I had a little whiteboard. It was for business and stuff, but we would always just play around with it and doodle and stuff. One night we were actually playing Hangman, and I think it was my turn to go up and write something. And I wrote 8 dashes, and Amanda guessed an O for the first letter. And I put the O on the 3rd dash. And then she guessed an I, so I put an I on the 1st dash. And then we look at each other, and then we just kind of chuckle. And I think we both kind of knew where it was going, obviously. And she spells out every letter, and then we both just laughed. At the end, a couple hours later, I ended up telling her that, I told her that I love her. And yeah, she said she loved me too. And I really did not see this coming, and I was so scared, because it had only been 4 months since since the breakup, maybe 4 to 5 months, I don't know. Amanda would always joke and say, "Ooh, I'm the rebound," and I'm just I didn't want it to be like that. I didn't want to use her as a distraction. I wanted this to be real. It's really hard to build that when you're trying to build your business and also kind of, heal from past. And to be completely honest, we had a lot of issues going on in the beginning. There was just a lot. It was just a lot. There were some things that I found out that kind of made it difficult for me to trust her. And what's kind of crazy is our dynamic flipped completely from what my last relationship was. With my ex, I was the avoidant attachment. You guys can look it up. I would shut down when things kind of got confrontational. I would kind of dodge stuff. I didn't really like to talk about hard stuff. I would stonewall. But my ex, she was the anxious attachment. Like, she couldn't leave things unresolved. And she constantly was needing reassurance. But for this relationship, I became the anxious attachment. I couldn't leave things unresolved. And I think Amanda was kind of like a fearful avoidant. You know, when conflict came, she would shut down, she'd stonewall, she'd pull away. I would try to talk things through, and it's like she would just kind of disappear emotionally, or literally physically. She'd physically try to go away. Well, whether that was go back to Jamaica or, you know, just like get out of the apartment. I'm not a psychologist, but I recognize these patterns because it's something that I used to do. Being on the other side of that now was just so crazy. It's like life would just hit full circle. Now I'm like, oh my God, I realize how my ex felt. I think the reason why I switched my attachment style was because just what I went through that summer, like all I was thinking about was how bad I treated her. I think it made me softer. It made me just more in tune with my emotions. So eventually the 30 dates thing kind of fizzled out. It was just a lot of work to keep going. We still made content, but it was spread out. Our connection kept growing, and I started to see real potential in Amanda. Like, I would tell her all the time how she could be a content creator. I told her she could be bigger than Alex Earl. Like, I really believed in that, and I believed in her. Obviously, she was a part of the That Just Happened brand, but, you know, I wanted her to have her own thing. I didn't just want her attached to my vision. I just wanted her to feel, like, empowered, if that makes sense, because I've always believed that you're only as powerful as the people who you surround yourself with. We started to get a little serious, you know. We talked about the future. You know, at this point, I think we were together for like 5-6 months. I'm not too sure. Obviously, my personal life was still kind of in shambles. I was not consistent with my YouTube. I wasn't making deadlines with my sponsors. I lost a lot of deals. You know, I was just barely holding it all together. And there was so much drama constantly circling us, and that did not make things easier. It was so hard to breathe sometimes. It was so hard to just build. I think one of the only times me and Amanda had true peace was when we went to the cabin in Lake Butler, you know, with no phones, no distractions and stuff. That was probably the first time, maybe the first time in my life where I just felt so present. I was doing everything that I needed to be doing. Like, I was setting up good shots. I got to be present in the relationship. I got to admire Amanda in a way that, like, I really have never gotten to. And I realized at that point that I could, like, relationship is a distraction, but if you set yourself up in a good environment, then you can make things work.
So with my boyfriend, I'm filling up all this space with foolishness. Okay, I'm gonna go. I love you, baby.
I was filming, doing what I needed to do, and also at the same time, I was being such a good boyfriend. So I was thinking, you know, maybe peace is just what I need. Maybe peace and quiet is all I need. I really did love Amanda, and I really cared so much about her. Even though maybe sometimes I didn't really show it in the right way, like, I did not play about Amanda. You know, she loved me in a time where I just didn't feel lovable. You know, she helped put the pieces back together. I kind of think we helped each other. You know, she had her wounds, and I always tried to show up, you know, no matter what time, no matter what day, no matter what hour. She could always depend on me. There was never going to be a time where I would not show up for that girl. You know, out of every woman I've ever been with, she was the only woman who I ever gave a promise ring to. I didn't just give that lightly. Like, I really had intention with it. But to be completely honest, you guys, not every story has a happy ending. I know a lot of you guys have seen clips floating around about the Bali trip. I guess I have to talk about it now. So Amanda and I were supposed to go to Bali for the summer. It was going to be just a fresh start. We were going to get that peace. We were going to be able to create. We were going to be able to build our relationship and, you know, heal from our personal lives, and just all in one. It's going to be an amazing trip, and we were going to go for the whole summer. The weeks leading up to the trip were, you know, extremely rough. There was drama. There was static. There was just a lot of tension coming from everywhere. Although Amanda agreed to go, and, you know, I booked our tickets and everything, I could kind of feel something shift. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Talk. Just talk.
In a couple days before we're supposed to go to Bali, she went to DC for her cousin's graduation, and that's when everything kind of changed. You know, that was the last time I saw her. And, you know, that same day was the last day I heard her voice. What's so funny is right when she got to the airport that day and she got through TSA, literally, she calls me and she's like, hey, like, I miss you. And I'm like, oh man, it's literally been an hour. I'm not gonna lie, like, we had been arguing pretty heavy, like, before that, but most of it was just outside noise, you know, just drama, pressure, stress. It was a lot going on. I started having dreams about Amanda betraying me, and she started having dreams about us being in Bali, us being homeless, you know, me using her for content, stuff like that. I reassured her that I loved her and that none of this would happen in a million years. And she reassured me that, like, she loved me more than anything on the planet. When she got to DC, it was kind of like a switch. Like, it's like she just changed. I just stopped texting her, and you know, she tried to text me maybe 5 or 6 times, and then eventually she texted me. She's just like, "Are we broken up?" Not even like a call. You need to talk to me on the phone. What are we doing here? She was just saying how overwhelmed she was and how much she had on her plate, which was true. Like, she did have a lot going on, but I just asked her, I was like, all right, well, just call me. And she said she would, but she never called me. Instead, we were just texting, and she was kind of telling me how she doesn't want to go to Bali. She's just not feeling up for it. And I was just like, we're literally a couple days away. And tickets are already booked. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I canceled the tickets, and she agreed to reimburse me. I still wanted to figure out what the hell was going on. So I asked her again to call me. And at this point, there's just no response. And she has not called me for the whole day. At that point, I delete the pictures. I stopped sharing location, cut it clean. Weeks go by, and I still haven't been reimbursed for the flight. And she has the credit for the flight. So I'm like, wait, you have the credit for the flight that I paid for, and you can use it to your will, because she can't even transfer it to me, and you still haven't paid me back. And I still haven't received an apology about the ditch and everything, and I'm just like, still haven't received a call. No phone call. I try to give grace. There's a big age difference. I try to be patient. I try to be understanding. I've always given her so many chances. I've always given her so much leeway, because I'm like, you're younger than me, And I also knew that she wasn't doing too good mentally. I really try my best not to take it personal. To give someone a promise ring and to be locked in like that, have plans for the future and all that kind of stuff, to just going from that to just basically being ghosted a couple days before like a really, really big trip. I had to end a relationship over text, like not even a call, because you're not up for it, like you can't talk on the phone. This is the thing with avoidance. In order for them to let go, they kind of like rewrite the relationship in their head. They kind of have to pretend that the good moments weren't that good and the bad moments for sure outweigh the good. Because true intimacy, the kind that demands growth, maturity, respect, and vulnerability, I think it really scares them. And they run. And this time I think she ran very fast. So I asked her one last time about being reimbursed. Not to be petty, but just to get this wrapped up. This was the last thing that I personally need to talk to her about. And after this, I had no reason to ever talk to her ever again. I don't want to have you in the back of my mind 24/7. She just gave me an attitude. And I think that's kind of when I just lost it. I just couldn't understand why things had to get this bad, like why things got so ugly. Things never got this ugly, never to this extent. When we were around each other, we were able to fix things, but I definitely think it became toxic. All the fear, all the outside noise, all the stress. I feel like it wasn't that we didn't love each other, it was just that we just didn't know how to protect it. Even in all this stuff going on, all this chaos, I started to think back to when Amanda first told me on the couch that maybe the reason I'm here in your life right now is to help you heal. And once you're healed and good, I'll be gone. I took that and I was like, maybe it's just time. I feel like God puts people in your life for a reason. And when the time is up, he removes them. And I used to kind of think that was harsh, but now I just kind of see it as love. I don't think God wanted Amanda to be here in Bali with me. I think he wanted me by myself. This isn't about saving a relationship. I think this is about saving me. Being out here, I'm starting to realize my patterns, just all my weaknesses, how much I rely on people, how much I don't go to God with my issues. And I don't know, I'm just really learning about myself. Like, I'm 30 hours away from home on the whole other side of the world by myself. And all my codependent habits are pretty much dying now because I have no one to turn to, and I'm just focusing on, myself and God. Nothing ever could have helped me prepare to be a better man than being in Bali right now by myself. So Amanda did end up reimbursing me. And I know this is gut-wrenching for a lot of you guys who are following the series, and a lot of you guys who have seen her on the channel and everything, but this is just what it is. This is what happened, or at least this is the version that I want to share. Obviously, there's a lot more that happened. There was, more pain, more mistakes on both of our sides. These are my closing thoughts. I need to be alone, man. I do believe I'm healed from Sammy. I can talk about it. I can look back at the situation and look at my mistakes and, and look at the good times and everything. And I still see her in my dreams from time to time. And, we meet up just like we would. I ask her what I should do. And, she gives me advice, and it's like, she's still guiding me throughout all this craziness, which is so weird. I think my heart just is struggling, and my subconscious mind is struggling to accept that, she's just not home anymore. That's no longer home. As far as Amanda, I feel like she'll always have like a soft spot in my heart. It's like the universe was trying to pull us apart before we even got together, honestly. I don't think we really ever had a fair shot of loving each other. I really do love Amanda, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I liked Amanda, if that makes sense. And I hope that doesn't come off a certain way. At least not in the way that you're supposed to like somebody who you're with. I know people say all the time, like, oh man, like nobody likes their wife and stuff. But I hope she knows that I never meant anything I said when I was angry. Despite how everything ended, I'm still so grateful I met Amanda. I just hate the way it ended. I really do. It's like now we're just strangers who know too damn much. It's just so bad. Truthfully, like, I still see Amanda in my dreams too. I literally just had a dream about her last night. Being here in Bali, like, and being like clear-headed, I can kind of see like two paths, or like see ways of how things could have worked with either her or Sammy. But it all starts with me at the end of the day. It all starts with me becoming the man who God intended me to be. Because truthfully, no matter who I meet, no matter how good it looks or how good the situation seems, if God is not in the middle of it, guys, it's gonna crumble. And it's happened time after time. This is honestly kind of embarrassing to make this video. This is pretty messy. I never posted anything like this, at least to this extent. But this is real, this is my life. I hope somebody can learn from this. I hope somebody can grow from this. I hope somebody can maybe relate to this in a way. And I hope this helps somebody somehow. And then I feel like maybe this will all be worth it. I still think you guys should take something really good out of all this. At the end of the day, I still was able to meet two really good people, random strangers, and just form a connection. That's not really something that happens in today's society. Everybody's always meeting on the internet, meeting on dating apps, and like hookup culture, just all these kind of nasty things. You know, it's just not authentic, real genuine connections, real genuine intentions anymore. I'm just hoping that we can get back to that one day. Like, even though this ended the way it did, like, this shouldn't discourage anybody from going on dates and from going out there and meeting people. You know, it was just really just the timing and just my personal stuff, these people's personal stuff. Like, everything was just not matching. That does not mean it's going to be the case for you if you go out there. You know, just take your time, be slow, be intentional, be genuine. Love with all of your heart. Don't snake anybody. Everyone on TikTok wants me to go and do 30 days here in Bali, which it sounds good, like that would be really cool. If I do go ahead and do that, like, you guys have to understand that this is going to be the last time I indulge in this girl content. And after that, I'm actually gonna have to make my actual purposeful content. That would be like my final send-off. And it would have to be obviously completely 100% platonic, because we cannot keep doing this. Like, we cannot keep doing this. I have to be disciplined. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give it a couple days, and I'm gonna read the comments, and I'm gonna talk to you guys in the comment section. But I really hope this answers you guys' questions, and I really hope I didn't bash anybody. I hope everybody is doing well. You know, if you watched this far into the video, I really, really appreciate it. It really means the world that you just sat here and watched me yap for this long. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Peace.